Hello everyone, welcome back to the Toy Corner. My name is Fed, and today I am continuing in my toy collector journey with 4 new additions to the toy shelf. I'm bringing you the 3rd video in the row with no Masterverse, Masters of the Universe of any kind. Not that there's anything wrong with Masters of the Universe, but I feel like I've been focusing on that a little bit too much, and so we're just gonna take a little step back. But I think that's enough looking at these wonderful figures. Let's get them out of their boxes and onto the shelf. We're going to start the day off with Ahsoka Tano from the Clone Wars. I believe this figure was recently re-released, or is going to be re-released soon. This is not the re-release, this is the original, and even though it's a little bit of a rare figure before the re-release, I did manage to get it for about MSRP, maybe even a little cheaper. Hey, you gotta look for those deals. The box is standard Black Series affair. We've got some lovely artwork on the side, we've got some lovely artwork on the back, and of course we have some text that I think you might be able to read. I don't know, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. This new camera thing, it'll take some adjustment, but I think it'll be for the best. But as nice as the box looks, it is in the way, so let's go ahead and get Ahsoka opened up. Alright, Ahsoka is now out of the box. She was a little bit wobbly, hard to get standing up, so instead of fighting with her, I just put her on a stand right away. So glad I bought those stands. It was about time for me to buy those stands. It's been a little while since I watched the Clone Wars, but if I'm not mistaken, this is the outfit that she wore towards the end of the series. You can correct me on that if I am incorrect. It does look like she's kind of leaning back there. Let's not have any accidents now, Ahsoka. And when it comes to the character, for Ahsoka, when I first watched the Clone Wars, probably unsurprisingly, she was my least favorite character. I could not stand her. But as the series went on, she grew, she developed, she became an interesting character, and now is probably my favorite character from that era. It is hard to choose, though, because there's a lot of good characters. From the prequel era, there are a lot of good characters. I mean, I didn't really grow up with the prequel, sort of, kind of, but my first Star Wars was the original trilogy, so obviously that's always going to take the top spots in my book, but there's just so many interesting and fun characters in the prequels, and Ahsoka, definitely a standout. For articulation, she has about what you would expect for a Black Series, a 6-inch figure. They all pretty much have the same articulation, with, of course, the only limitations coming from her head, because obviously with how her head is shaped, she's going to not be able to have full range, but she has good range of movement. It's not bad, it's not stuck in like just the front facing like it could have been. So all in all, I mean, great articulation. I'm not entirely sure how old Ahsoka would have been. I believe in the start of the series, she's roughly 12, 13, 14, that age. So I'm guessing this is probably 16, 17. I don't know how long, but I should know this stuff. I really should. No interchangeable body parts, head, hands, anything like that. For accessories, all we really have is her twin lightsabers. One is much shorter than the other, and I believe, if memory serves, it's been a little while, but I believe she holds them reverse blade style. And I know she gets a few different lightsabers as the series goes on, but apparently at the end of... I still think this is the end of the series. She apparently has 2 blue, which is a good look. I really, honestly, I've always liked the one short, one long saber look. I just think it suits her character much. I believe when she started the series, she had 1 saber and it was green, and then when she moved to 2, I think they were both blue. Maybe it was blue-green. I need to rewatch that. It's a good series. If you haven't watched it, watch it. First season can be a little rough to get through, but once you get through that, man, from there on to the end, it's just golden. As most Black Series lightsabers do, the blades come out of these ones, and you can actually store them on her sides. Although keep in mind, this is a soft plastic, very soft, maybe a vinyl. So it does take a little bit of doing to get them in there, but once you do, you know, they look nice, and they seem to stay pretty well in there. I don't think they're coming out anytime soon. With Darth Vader, with Luke Skywalker, they seem to come off pretty easily, but Ahsoka, she's doing her job as a Jedi. She's got her lightsabers very well secured. Outside of the issues, getting Ahsoka to stand, she is an absolutely beautiful figure. I love all the small details. I mean, there's little red things over here. There's little bits on her uniform, her outfit. That's just, everything just really comes together for this figure. It's a gorgeous figure. If you have not picked one of these up, and you are a Black Series collector, do yourself a favor and get the reissue before they too disappear. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get Ahsoka added to the shelf. Moving right along, we have a first for the collection. One of Jakks Specific's Sonic the Hedgehog 4-inch figures. I wasn't really planning on collecting this line, but, well, I definitely was a Sonic fan growing up. In fact, if I had Sonic and Mario toys as a kid, man, I wouldn't have needed it. Well, maybe Mega Man. Sonic, Mega Man, Mario, and I would have been set. I wouldn't have needed any other toys ever for any reason. Forget Star Wars, forget Ninja Turtles, that's all that I would have wanted. But be it the nostalgia or just how beautiful the translucency of the plastic is, something about this figure really attracted me to it. I just randomly saw it at a Target when I was just walking around downtown. No real intent of buying anything. I just saw it and I decided, you know what? I think this is the start of something. It's a carded figure. They use a lot of plastic, but as you can see from the accessory in there, it's kind of necessary that they use that much. It's simple, it's pretty, I like it. Obviously, it's meant to be open. If you take a look at the back, you can see the other figures in the line, and of course it tells you about the articulation and other things that you can read if you want to read it. But as with every other toy, what I want to do is open it up and play with it. Alright, Chaos is now out of the package, and man, I don't know how well it's coming across camera, but the translucency of this is just beautiful. It really feels like I'm holding water, a water creature in my hands. It's just, wow. Just really good job to the Jakks Specific team for making this guy the way that they did. Guy, is Chaos a guy? Chaos is Chaos. I should use neutral terms. For making Chaos this Chaos. It's just amazing. I can't, I'm just gonna gush. I can't, it's amazing. I love it. It's great. Well, everything else on the figure is translucent aside from the eyes that are painted on there. It does look like all of the joints themselves are not translucent plastic, and I appreciate that they did that, because I know that translucent plastic, there's some problem with it over the ages becoming either brittle or kind of like tacky and gooey, and I like that they kept the joints. They kept the joints just as regular instead of the translucent, so most likely the articulation of this figure will last. It won't be an issue. Speaking of the articulation, since this is our first Sonic figure, we of course have some head articulation. I believe it's on a ball joint if I can see through there correctly. Of course, with his head shape, it's a little bit difficult to really get much movement, but it is there. Arms-wise, of course, we have some movement at the wrist, we have the elbow, and we have the shoulder. And with the legs, of course, we have some movement at the thigh, both able to, get sitting, kicking, range of movements, as well as some twisting. And the feet, though they don't pivot, they do turn, so you do get some articulation with them. All in all, I think for a 4-inch figure, pretty good articulation. One thing that I really like they did for this figure is that Chaos has a bit of a nub back there, and you would expect it to have a full tail. Chaos does have a tail, but this is actually a little bit of a storytelling tie-in to the game. In Sonic Adventure, Chaos's tail is missing. If you played the game, you know. If you haven't played the game, give it a play. Don't let the hate get to you. It's actually a fantastic game. But I like when toy companies will design story elements into a toy. They could have given him a tail, a pop-off tail, anything, but I like that they kept it the way that it's supposed to be, where it's just a little nub back there, because Chaos's tail is missing. Poor Chaos. The only accessory that Chaos comes with is the Master Emerald, which lore-wise makes perfect sense for Chaos to come with the Master Emerald, but what I'm really surprised is how they designed it with just a little bit of a flat bottom down here. So it's really not too hard to get it to stand up on its own. So again, just for this figure, 10 out of 10, Jakks Specific, amazing job. Thank you for just being so intricate and so just amazing with it. I can't, I don't have words. If you couldn't tell, at the end of the day, I'm just very excited to add Chaos to the toy shelf. Up next is our Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates, Splinter. Splinter was always one of my favorite designed toys for the Ninja Turtles line from the 80s. I don't know, something about the dark browns and the deep pinks, purple, whatever color. To me, it's like a dark pink to a light purple, something like that. I don't know, something about the contrast just really stood out in a good way to me. I also found it hilarious that it was a cloth good robe and you could take it off and make him naked. I was 5, what do you want from me? Of course, the window box is the standard fare for the Ultimates line. Green for good guy, window box with lots of accessories, and a little bit of a blurb on the back should you wish to read it. Let's not focus on that, let's go ahead and open Splinter up. Out of the packaging, we can see from the front he's kind of goofy looking, so we'll turn him a bit to the side just so we can get a nice look all the way around. He does have the cloth goods robe, which, I don't know, I feel like the one in the old toy was longer than this, but I might be misremembering. The way that his feet are, they're kind of rounded on the bottom, so you do sort of need his, without his tail, you're not really getting him to stand, so you do kind of need his tail for balance, which I don't think is a bad thing. I mean, are you really going to want to pose Splinter looking like this? It doesn't really, I don't know. It looks better down like that, just in my opinion. Articulation-wise, it's what you would expect from an Ultimate. He has all the movements you would get out of any other Ultimate figure. He does actually have peg holes for a stand, which is nice, because most of the Ultimates actually don't have that. At least the ones that I've opened so far don't have that. His head articulation is a little bit limited. He can't really look up or down, just kind of swivel his head left and right like this. I don't know. I feel like they probably could have done better, but maybe they just didn't want to break the sculpt. Either way, I mean, really, when is he just going to be staring up in the air and looking goofy like that, or staring down? Maybe, you know, he would bend down to maybe find something on the ground. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. His robe is cloth goods, so you can open it up and make him strip for you if that's what you want to do. If you would like your Splinter to be naked, you can do that. Although I feel it's more for the extra plastic robe that's included, so let's go ahead and swap that out and see if this looks a little better than this. We'll find out. Well, here he is in the best I could kind of do. I'm not exactly sure if I'm doing something wrong or anything like that, but if you can see, this right here just does not want to fasten in any way. It is just a peg that goes into a little hole. It just doesn't, I don't know, maybe it's a defect with this figure, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I'm probably not going to pose him in his plasticky robe anyway. I like the cloth one because, well, again, I'm buying these because they remind me of the old toy line, and that's what the old toy line had, was a cloth good robe. So let's go ahead and change him back. Alright, cloth robe back on. This is my preferred look for the figure anyway, but I did go play with this a little bit while it's off of him, and I did manage to get it fastened. So it does stay fastened, but boy, is that a lot of work that I don't want to go through. So, an option, if you'd like it, options are good. You know the spiel. As you've been seeing the whole time, we have our grippy hands. And of course, what Ninja Master wouldn't have some fists for giving the business? There's also some open hands with his claws exposed, so of course he can give you some scratches. He's a Ninja Master. He's going to use everything at his disposal, and you better believe those teeth and those claws are at his disposal. And finally, we have some open hands, perfect for cradling that hot beverage that also comes included with this figure, because, I mean, they just gave some great accessories for this one. He also comes with this little baby turtle that can fit nicely into those open hands as well, because as a Ninja Master, you must have hands that are both firm and gentle. He also has his walking stick, which can be used either as a very, very short walking stick or as a makeshift weapon. You never know what it might come in handy. He has another walking stick that has a nice little surprise for unsuspecting villains that might try to take advantage of a decrepit old rat. And last up are Splinter's trusty bow and arrow. I'm not exactly sure how I can pose that to make him actually look like he's firing it, but with one of the more open hands, he does hold it without worries of breaking it. I don't know, some of these accessories I really question if Super 7 actually bothered to test before they threw in there, or if they just upscaled it. I mean, yes, he has the ninja stars that everybody else has, but do I really need to cover these every time? And of course we have this. You know what I think of those. But with all the options there are, I'm sure I'll find a myriad of ways to display Splinter. In the meantime, I'm just happy to add another Ninja Turtles Ultimate to the shelf. Last up for today is Optimus Prime from the Power of the Primes. I believe this is a 2-in-1 that gives you Orion Pax and Optimus Prime. This is, of course, the reissue. I didn't buy this back in the day. I was tempted. This was years before I decided to become a toy collector, and this toy tempted me. I like the color. I like the bigness of the toy. I don't know. It had my attention back then, and I passed it. I passed up on it, and, well, now that I'm a toy collector, I decided to go ahead and snag it now that it's available. Front of the box is a nice window display. We can see this is a part of Generations, which was the previous line. Of course, we got Transformers up the side, Power of the Primes. He is a leader class. He's huge. Of course, we got some gorgeous artwork here. Turning on the side, we have nothing. On the back, There you go, Orion Pax, Optimus Prime. It looks like you just combine these two pieces. So we have the trailer that makes the big body, and we have the truck that makes the little body, and together they become Optimus Prime. He has a matrix of leadership, not surprising. It looks like he has some gimmick with the matrix, but I'm guessing if you don't have any of the other figures in this line, that's kind of pointless, because I don't think they're going to re-release the whole line. And of course on the side we have some nice artwork of Orion Pax. It is a nice box, it is a lovely box, it is a box that's in the way. Let's open him up. And out of the box, our Optimus Prime is a bit shorter than he should be. Let me explain. His feet are supposed to be up like this, but these joints are so loose. He falls over so easy, and I'm a little bit worried. I will try to keep him like this. I am a little bit worried about him just falling over, which he has done a couple of times now. It's probably why his chest thing is here is loose, but I don't know, man. It's that's why I had him down, put his feet down like this, because at least here he looks weird, but he stands. He does look the best like this, so I will try my best to get him to stand this way. But taking a look around the figure, ooh, this is a rough back. This is not a figure that's meant to be viewed from the back. I've seen a lot of toy reviewers complain about Transformers backs. Man, this one might take the cake. That's an awful back. But, you know, that's okay. That's okay. I just, ooh, wobbly feet and a bad back, we're not off to a good start, but who knows, the transformation might be fun. I still do really like the front of this guy, although I do have a couple of other, there's a bit of plastic hanging off here. What's going on? I do have a couple of things that I wish they would have done differently. If you look at his feet, his knees, his arms, he has some stickers. I'm guessing that's the way that it was back when it was released in, I don't know, 2017, 2016. I'm not really sure when he was released. But I'm sure that this is probably just a straight re-release. I don't know if they fixed any things. I don't know what the problem with the toy was back then, but clearly, as we can see, there are just a couple of little things worth nitpicking here and there, but for the most part, the figure still looks amazing. I love the bulk of it. I love this Optimus head, the blue eyes, the silver, the dark blue. It looks big and bold and amazing. So I love the look of this figure from the front. But yeah, just a little bit of a downer that his ankle joints, I guess, I can probably tighten those up. I might try some of the tightening stuff, or try getting a little super glue in there, something to make it a little bit tighter, but let's just focus on the rest of the figure. He, of course, has some good articulation. He's got the knee bend you'd expect. He does have the ankle pivot, which is nice. His feet do probably move this way for the transformation, I would assume, but it is still articulation, so we count it. Of course, his legs go in and out, all of that fun stuff. His arm have just about the... No, oh, is that a ratchet joint, or is that just... No, that was just... Anyway, but he has about all the movement you would expect for the arm, with the exception it does look like the fists do not turn, so no articulation at the hands. Head articulation is, I think, on a ball joint, but it is very stiff and limited. But there's not really much they can do with that. Optimus Prime does not have much of a neck, and there is no waist swivel, probably because of this big fella right here. So, yeah, articulation, I mean, paint-wise, this character looks great. Articulation-wise, for the time he came out, was probably really good. And aside from a few nitpicks like stickers that are already starting to come off, so far, very happy that I purchased this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the alternate modes, the transformation modes. Yeah, let's take a look. So they're easy enough to separate. There's a little blue lever down here. You just pull down and pull, and our little Optimus head part pops out pretty easy. Not a difficult transformation from the balled up mode to Orion Pax. We'll get a good look at him here. Around the back you can kind of see how the transformation works. This is normally the back, this is the back in the other mode. Articulation wise, got a lot of good movement, everything I could want in the arms, everything I could need in the legs, except for no foot pivot, tilt, whatever you want to call it. But again, I'm noticing just a lot of really loose joints, and it's kind of hard to look past that, because if they're this loose now, I mean, how loose are they going to be a year down the road? It's just not a good look. But little gripes aside, beautiful looking Orion. But of course he has one more mode. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of. Not too difficult to get into truck mode, but this is an incomplete truck mode because the rest of the truck mode includes this. And when you put them together, you get Optimus Prime's truck mode. It's not a bad looking truck mode, but there is definitely a lot of obvious robot parts. You can see Orion's head down there. These are obviously his folded up arms. You can still see his hands. There's not really a closed trailer here, or a closed truck cab here. The trailer looks good from just about all sides. I think they worked harder on this transformation than this one, but again, it's not bad by any means. It actually holds together pretty well, except for, again, there's some looseness in the arms, but everything else really holds together well. There aren't very many tabs used on this truck form, but the few that they use really just helps hold everything together. And again, it works. It's a good truck mode. It does what it needs to do. It communicates what it needs, but I'm probably not going to display him in this truck mode very often, especially because there are just better versions of Optimus's truck mode. One thing I do want to point out is these two little tabs here. It is used for weapon storage. You do have to put the weapon in there during the transformation, so you can't really take it in and out at will. I mean, you can, but you have to, like, pop it apart to get it done. But just wanted to let you know, because I don't know if I'm going to transform this again after I transform it back. But let's go ahead and get him back into Optimus mode. Alright, back in full Optimus mode. Quick and easy transformation. The transformation's not bad. Really, what's kind of making this difficult for me are the stickers that are already starting to peel, and just the looseness of the joints that makes it tough to properly get him to kind of stand. I really don't want him just to fall over all the time. I swear I spend more time trying to get this guy to stand up than anything else. But this Optimus does come with 3 other things. He has the Power of the Primes Optimus Prime card, which has some stuff on the back. If you can read it, read it. If you want to read it. If you don't, it's gone. He comes with his blaster rifle, this one of course having a secret that it can pop apart into 2 separate weapons, which you can use for Orion packs or Optimus. They'll fit either handset. And of course, what Optimus would be complete without a Matrix of Leadership, which is a little bit hidden in this version. You have to go through 2 sets of doors to get to the Matrix chamber, but little finagling here and there, and Optimus Prime has his Matrix of Leadership. Not a bad Optimus, but honestly a little disappointing just with the little flaws here or there. I don't know how often I'm going to be able to display him standing up like that. I'll try to tighten his joints up. If I can get them tightened, I will mention in a later video. I actually want to make a video of some of the toy repairs that I've been doing, just the little things that I run into. So, would I recommend this? If you really, really love the design, yes, just be aware that this is a display from the front kind of character, and that the looseness of the joints might drive you absolutely bonkers. Otherwise, I am happy to add Optimus Prime to the shelf. And with 4 new additions to the toy shelf, we wrap up another episode of Toy Corner. If you haven't done so already, I recommend logging into your favorite social media platform or platforms, make a nice post, leave a nice comment, spread just a little bit of kindness every day. Thank you again for watching, for continuing to join me on this journey. You have no idea how much it means to me that you're here, that you're sharing this with me. And as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of each other, simply take care.